Laba diena! So in the previous episode I made this tabletop and the stable leg, and even though these together look astonishing, this stable leg is a bit too weak for this heavy tabletop. And even though I epoxy glued this steel rod into the oak leg, it's still not rigid enough. And if this doesn't make any sense, please check my previous episodes. So I asked the client to come over to the workshop and discuss a new table base idea. And even before doing that, I fixed all the minor defects in the tabletop, so no unnecessary questions would be asked. And luckily for me, she came prepared. She already had a solution for my issue. Her brother suggested to use a 10mm steel pipe instead of that 25mm rod. And he suggested to weld the steel pipe with a base plate, just as I did with this one, and to weld another smaller steel plate on top of the pipe, which could be screwed into the tabletop. So first of all, let's weld the parts together and check if it provides enough stability. Finally, this table feels solid, and don't mind the bolts, I will replace them with the proper ones. And I cut off that triangular piece with a nut just because I wanted to salvage the table leg I built before, so I needed some bracket to screw onto new tabletop. So my previous leg design was easy enough to make. I just built a couple of oak pieces, made a channel in the middle, glued them together, turned it on the lathe, and then I put it on the steel rod from the top. But this time I cannot do that because I have this top bracket and it's not possible. So my approach to this problem would be to start just the same as I did with the previous leg, but instead of making a permanent glue joint, I will make it a temporary. So I will make a turning, split it in half, and glue it onto the steel tube. But it's all in theory, so we'll see how it goes. So I have a couple of news. One very great, another not so much. So the great one is that this old friend goes into retirement, and you probably already see the difference. And not so great one is that I will have to make a third leg, because this design didn't suit the client's needs. I mean, it was my fault. I dove into the build right away, and I haven't contacted with a sketch. So once she saw the finished leg, she completely doomed it. So my bad. So we chatted a bit, and she showed me a picture of the holy grail, so to speak, the design she would love to see in her home, this one. So I explained her that I will have to enlarge the diameter of the leg, and probably I will not be able to carve those that twist, but she was completely fine with that. She said that I should go as close to this design as possible. As you can see, I already started working with the new table base, but it's gonna be just the same as the previous ones, so I guess I will not bother you with the same footage. And I also made this transition piece and a new table leg. There's not that much to explain about this transition piece. I just threw a block of wood into the lathe and turned it until I got to this shape. So this time client clearly explained herself that she wants as slim of a leg as possible. And that instantly created a problem, because I had to hide that 100 mil pipe somewhere in that leg. So first of all, I milled a couple of pieces of oak, and I used the same trick on the table saw as for the fat leg to create that channel to accept the tube. Once I had those done, I decided I would love to reinforce them somehow, because once I will start turning them and the diameter will get closer to the pipe diameter, it probably will go ballistic. So I simply took another half of the same tube, covered it in the mold release, applied a few beads of silicone, and laid it into the pieces I made. Once the silicone cured, I filled it with slow setting epoxy, so all the cracks and all the knots and all the imperfections would be filled with epoxy. So when the epoxy cured, I removed the pipe and tested the pieces on the steel base, and there was a gap. It's because I haven't pressed the pipe hard enough to squeeze out all the silicone, and this created a shallow film all around the pipe. So that meant that I had to create a custom fit sander to sand all the overflow. So once I got that out of the way and I had a perfect fit around the pipe, I applied a masking tape, a few bits of CA glue, and glued the whole structure for the turning. And the rest went pretty smoothly. I just had to be uber careful while turning. So let's put these pieces together and finish this table project once and for all. Well, even though I was worried that these shells will go flying off the lathe, I had a hard time removing them from the pipe. So this temporary glue up was definitely a good choice. And I removed them purely by curiosity, because I wanted to see how thin of a wall I was left in the middle. And it was pretty thin. It's only 3.5 millimeters. And I'm talking this way because this table leg design has two major flaws. First one is this transition piece. It just looks like a separate part no matter what. And I thought maybe I could blend it better with a similar grain wood, or maybe I could just use the end piece of this middle board, flip it over and turn it from that piece. But I don't think I would be able to blend it absolutely seamlessly. And the main reason I did this in two parts, because this piece is too big to put it on my lathe. And the second issue of the design is the proportion of the leg. It's just too bulky. I have to agree with the client that it doesn't suit her needs. It's a bit sad because I put a lot of effort into making these, but I will try to salvage them in upcoming project. So you might be wondering what's gonna be the next step. All I can say now that I will make that leg slimmer. Maybe not as slim as the first one, but way slimmer than the last. Anyhow, my apologies for taking so long to post this video. Thank you for watching, and I promise to deliver the next episode quicker. Bye bye.